Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. 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 We will first address the elephant in the room. And yes, I did cut my hair. I actually cut it this morning. I took a shower, I went to wash my hair. I was actually feeling like I liked the texture or the way my natural hair was feeling versus the way the permed ends were feeling. So instead of doing that slowly but surely cutting off that I was doing, I just did the big chop. So this is what we are looking like. And I have to get used to this again. It's been a little while since I had natural hair, but I am loving it. And we will get started. Today's video is actually going to be a dupe video. I did have the opportunity to pick up the Luster Charm palette from Alter Ego, and that is supposed to be a dupe for the Pat McGrath Mothership 7 Divine Rose palette. As you can see, I do have both palettes. This is the Divine Rose palette, or the Divine Rose 1. This is what that looks like. And this is the Luster Charm, which I think I did swatch a little bit and I think I liked it. But this is what the Luster Charm palette looks like. So we will open them up together so you can see the similarities. Of course, there are no special shades in the Luster Charm, and the shadows are in a little bit of a different order, but overall the palettes look pretty much the same. We are going to do, of course, one eye with the Mothership 7 or the Divine Rose palette, and one eye with the Luster Charm palette from Alter Ego. I am excited to get into it. Of course, I am going to be using my Colored Rain brushes. So I am going to, I think on my right eye, do the Luster Charm palette, and on the left eye I'll do the Divine Rose. So we're going to start out with the Luster Charm, and of course I am going to go in with the shade Mystic here. I do have on my eyelids today the Eye Prep Eye Prime eye primer from Dupe's Place, and this morning was my first time using it, but I was a little bit put off with the fact, and I'll just put a little bit on my hand, that when I first opened it there was a lot of liquid that came out of it. So far the primer on my lids feels pretty good. This is what the primer looks like, and I got the shade number 2. So there's a white one, there's this one that has a little bit of a tint to it, and then there's a darker one for darker skin tones. But we will see how that reacts with the shadows that I'm using today also. But I'm going to start with the shade Mystic from the Luster Charm palette, which is right here, and I'm going to use brush number, there's no brush number, the large blending brush, and this is going to be sort of a crease slash transition shade. And I do notice some creasing from the Dupe's Place primer, which I am not used to, but we shall move on, and we will put this in the crease. I probably should have set this primer first, because it doesn't feel like it's dry at all. It feels very emollient still on my eyelids, but hopefully that won't make much of a difference with this eyeshadow application. We shall see. But this is the shade Mystic. So far so good. Pigmentation is pretty good. And I did do my brows like off camera, sort of to like cut time, and I did that soap brow method, and it took me so long to do my brows today, but I like the the way they look a little bit thicker than they normally do. All right, but this is the shade Mystic. And I'm going to take a different brush and I'm going to go in with the shade. Actually, I don't know what the shade number is, but what the shade name is, but it's the shade up here in the Pat McGrath palette. And I'm going to take a different blender from Colored Rain. Okay, so I feel like this looks lighter in the pan when you look at it. It looks lighter in the pan, but when you put it on your lid, it looks darker than the one from Alter Ego. And so that's what we look like. Need to go a little bit further up on the brow bone here though. Ooh, almost messed up. Going back into Mystic and going a little bit further up on the brow bone here. I like the Mystic shade a little bit better. It's a little bit more of a plum shade, whereas this one leans a little bit more gray. All right, so we are going to go in with the shade Rare. Make sure I have two brushes I can use. Okay, so we're going to go in to the shade Rare in the Luster Charm, which is the chocolatey brown here, and we are going to go on this like outer section here. There is quite a bit of kick up, but that is not a deal breaker for me. And this shade is really pretty. And this shade, these two shades blend very well together, it looks like. So far, I will say with all of the Alter Ego palettes that I have picked up, I have not been disappointed in any of them. I know that people were saying that with the new, they have the Canyon and the Bloom, I think, palettes. The Bloom palette was a bit of a disappointment to people that I have seen, so I haven't picked that one up. Nor have I picked up the Canyon because I already have that Natasha Denona bronze palette. So I haven't like picked up the Alter Ego one. But we're going to go in again with the brown shade here in the Mothership palette. And right away, this one is a little bit cooler when you put it on than the one in the Alter Ego palette. Which, I mean, I like both of them. But if you want, like, definitely that warmer brown, I would say Alter Ego. If you want it to be cooler, I would say Pat McGrath. Alright, and I'm going to take my finger because I'm going to go into, while I have this one in my hand, I am going to go into this special shade. I know there's a card in here. Let's not be lazy. Let's look up the names. This will be the shade VR Rose Venus. This shade here, that's sort of a duochrome shade. And I'm going to go in with my finger for that one. And we are going to put that here. This shade is absolutely gorgeous. And I am going to have to kind of finish that up with the brush a little bit here. Because I can't get into my inner corner here with my fingers. So I'm going to take this brush and just kind of blend the two here. All right, so that is your Pat McGrath side. I'm going to take the shade Radiant in the Luster Charm, and I'm going to go in with another finger here. And immediately putting this on the lid is gorgeous, but there is more, I think, of an oranginess to this one than the so the Pat McGrath one is duochrome, and if you turn a certain way you can see the orange, but this one is, you can see more orange straight on. This is gorgeous too, though. Like, I am not mad at all at the Alter Ego palette. You still, you get a little bit of a duochrome with the Alter Ego, but for sure, you know, Pat McGrath has it with the duochromes. Let's see. I need another, a different shadow brush here, and we'll just go a little bit more into the corner. Yeah, that is that. So this is the Alter Ego side, this is the Pat McGrath side. While I have the Pat McGrath, I mean the Alter Ego in my hand, I am going to take, I have to grab another brush here, just this little brush here, and I'm going to go into the shade Crystal, and I'm going to use that as an inner corner highlight. This one is definitely a duochrome shade. It looks white in the pan, but it kind of oh yeah, that comes up super pink. I don't know if I like that with the look that I have, but it comes up super pink. I'm just going to kind of clean this brush off a little bit because I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to go into the, what shade is this? This one is called Iridescent Pink 003. Maybe I should not have used that. I should have used Spectral. Anyway, since I already did it, we are going to go in with the Spectral Pink, which is another one of her special shades. And I mean, the pink here doesn't look, they look a lot alike though. These are pretty. It's just unusual, but yeah. This side is your Luster palette from Alter Ego. And then this side is the Pat McGrath Mothership 7 or the Divine Rose palette. Perfect everyday palette. But I would say if you want to dip your toe into Pat McGrath, into her 10-pan palettes, I would say start with the Divine Rose 7 because it is the most neutral. And I think the one that you would get the most use out of every day, like going to work or something. Like, this is a perfect work look. But if you don't want to spend the $125 for that palette, I would go ahead and pick up the Luster Charm palette. You will get the same effect. This one I think is $22. Yes, the Luster palette from Alter Ego is $22 versus $125 for Pat McGrath. I think this is a really, really good dupe for this palette here. And and very much worth picking up, along with the majority of their other palettes. It's up to you to say whether or not like you think a palette is good or not. So I will always say try it. Their quality or their dupe palettes are amazing. I think worth the money. But that is it, you all. That is pretty much the look. This side Luster, this side Divine Rose, and Luster definitely worth the $22. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you are already subscribed, please make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I have a new video coming out. Have a great day, and may your day be as flawless as your makeup.